This video will show you how to replace the front outer tie rod end on a Mitsubishi Lancer. This will be located behind your front wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Safely raise and support the front of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. Now once you've done that, you're going to remove all 5 of your 21mm lug nuts so we can get the wheel off of here. Now that we have the wheel off, we have a clear view of our tie rod ends and our power steering rack bellows boot. Let's start right in this area here at our tie rod end jam nut. As far as the jam nut itself, we're going to be using a 22mm wrench. We're going to have to turn this clockwise. That's going to bring this up the inner tie rod end and away from the outer tie rod end. To prevent that tie rod end from moving, I'm going to be using a 19mm. We'll hold that still. Now I've got my 22mm on that jam nut. We'll get it to break free here. Now once it is broken free, we can go ahead and move that as you can see. Continuing on, we're going to start separating the outer tie rod end from our steering knuckle. This is held in place with a 15mm mounting nut. Go ahead and remove that mounting nut. We'll just give that a quick inspection, start it back on there a couple threads. With that in place, use some penetrant inside of this area and we'll continue on with a hammer. We're going to cause some vibration along this area of the steering knuckle. Being aware not to cause any damage, we want to make sure that the tie rod end drops down and away. We have the nut on here so it cannot fall out and potentially hurt us. Now we can start unscrewing the outer tie rod end from the inner tie rod end. We're turning this counterclockwise. We're counting the amount of threads it takes to remove it. 1, 2, and so on. There it is, friend. A quick inspection and set it aside. Let's inspect the threads on our inner tie rod end, making sure that they're in good usable order. We'll apply some anti-seize on the threaded portion along here. All right, let's get ready to install the brand new outer tie rod end. When we go to install this, let's make sure we turn it in the same amount of rotations it took to remove it in the first place. 1, 2, and so on. Now continuing on, we're going to take that jam nut, we're going to turn it counterclockwise until it bottoms out against the outer tie rod end. Now we are going to tighten this, but I like to do that once I have the outer tie rod end installed into my steering knuckle first. Now we can take the outer tie rod end and install it into the steering knuckle. We'll pivot things as necessary so we can get it in place. Start on your outer tie rod end mounting nut. Once you have it started on, snug it up and then torque it to 18 foot-pounds. Double check to make sure that's secured. Now we need to tighten our jam nut. To tighten this, I'm holding the tie rod end and I'm turning the jam nut counterclockwise, bringing it in closer towards my outer tie rod end. One last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our wheel. Now I've got the wheel back on the ground. We're going to be torquing these to 80 foot-pounds in a crisscross manner. Torqued. Okay friend, we finished our installation. At this point, go ahead and hop in the passenger compartment and take your vehicle for a road test down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.